What's going on, traders? We're ready to get right after this market. Breaking news happening. Hindenburg short report. Square getting the beat down. Lot going on. Banking situation. Tech stocks up. There's so much going on right now that definitely we're not going to be able to keep up with everything right now. So even myself that tries to keep up with everything, I'm going to try to put the blinders on, focus on the planned attack today, trade the plan to trade, right? Let's see what happens now. And of course, there could always be more tape bombs right around the corner, team. Be careful out there. Uncertainty at its highest.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
All right, team, let's bring on the boys here. We got Ryan Faluna, we got Zunaid in the house, and I will be fixing my camera in just a second, team. I'm sorry. That's why I started a second or two late there. Just got to fix up my aspect ratio on my camera here. But we'll get into the stock market today. Of course, we are kind of moving down a little bit after yesterday's kind of 25 basis point rate. Will we break through Wednesday's low? That's what I'm going to be looking at. Of course, that's 391.87. We'll find out what happens. And guess what, team? Back to the swing trading action. We'll find out what happens today. I do got Chevron on a swing. I'm up about 1.38%.
We need your charts.
159.17. Yeah, and I wasn't even going to share it, but I got you.
You can just go to us whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were trying to keep
you're
talking
good.
or what.
You're good, my friend. So just Chevron, right? I talked about how I took this first move down, was looking for a bounce to get short. As we were going through the conference yesterday, I could see Chevron actually going up during that, and I took the shot off this kind of like 159.60s, really the 160 level, and now up significantly, but it is bouncing a little bit in the pre-market, right? Not going to let it get back through my entry, of course, which is 159.17, but we'll look to see if we can get 4-6% on this name on Chevron. That's going to do it for me. I will be looking for more energy trades to crack today. We'll find out if that does happen. Kicking it to you guys.
All right. I'll go ahead and start here with the SPY. If you recall correctly, yesterday I said that after the Fed, I expect the market to sell off. There was a little bit of indecision there as it went in both directions for a little bit first before eventually selling off. We got a nice huge red candle that actually took us right to the 200-day moving average. We're up a little bit here in the pre-market today, but let's see how we end up finishing. I still think that there's more downside here to go. I don't think the outlook overall is very good for the market right now. So looking at the SPY here, like Mitch said, we want to see if we can break yesterday's lows. That would really probably accelerate the downside. Otherwise, we might just kind of play or kind of bounce off this 200-day. Right now, we're actually between the 200-day and the 100-day, so that range might hold up. We'll see where we end up going here today. I like the market for a little bit lower. Well, one of the other things Mitch mentioned was coin, right? So first of all, Coinbase received a Wells notice. This is basically the SEC saying you have 30 days to respond, but we are going to bring charges against you. They've done an investigation. I don't know what it is. I don't know the specifics of it, but I know that a Wells notice is not good. So coin here, obviously really, really selling off. Now, I expect this to bounce at some point, but the question is going to be how short-lived is that bounce? So if you're looking for coin for a trade today off of a bounce, I get it. Be careful though. This is bad news, and it's gonna play out over several days. So even if you do get a bounce today, make sure you take some of your gains off that. The other piece of news that we got here this morning is on Square, right? So Hindenburg released a short report on Square. Square really, really selling off. We're down 17%, almost 12 and a half points here in the pre-market. One of the things that you've seen here, we actually sold off to about 58 and bounced to about 61. So I wouldn't be surprised if we bounce in this too. But the reality is that these short guys that do this research, they're normally correct. In some cases, it actually takes a while for that thesis to show out or whatever the correct term is. It might take a while for this story to actually play out, but a lot of times these guys are correct in their research. So we'll see what happens here. Again, this is a company that I've liked before. I don't own it, thankfully. Otherwise, today would be kind of a really, really bad morning. As far as playing this, again, just like coin, day trades only. If you think that you're able to catch a bounce off a support level or something like that, totally get it. You might actually get it. You've actually already seen one bounce here today. So just kind of keep that in mind. Be very, very careful if you take these, and understand too that with some of these short reports, a lot of times they do bounce back. And so if you're looking to go short here, maybe wait to do that on pops back. Now I'm going to go through the movers tool here real quick, and then I'm going to turn it over to Zunaid. Zunaid, I don't want to suck up all of the time here. I'm sure you've got stuff that you're taking a look at. First one here is going to be SMX. This is Security Matters. This is huge volume here in the pre-market. We actually popped as high as 165. Let's see if we actually have a newsprint. SMX leads the transition from linear to circular production through the success of marketing for steel and automotive, train and railway industries, and infrastructure applications. So just got logged out. That's really cool. I'm not sure what exactly that PR means. We'd actually have to go through it, but given us a decent trading range here so far this morning, let's see if that range ends up holding up today and providing more trades for us today. We shall see. Let me go ahead and mark some of these levels off here. Sorry about the being logged out there real quick. Thankfully, all I had to do was log back in. But regardless, this is what we're looking for here. Probably do this here as well. And it looks like we actually got a little resistance there at about 155, 156. So we'll see if SMX provides any types of setups for us today. Next here is going to be ADN. This is Advent Technologies. Keep in mind, this actually has earnings a week from tomorrow, so pretty soon. You can see we actually did trade up as high as 192 here. This is up 32% still. We do have a catalyst here. Advent Technology shares are trading higher after the company and Hyundai Motors Company signed a joint development agreement following a successful fuel cell technology assessment. So getting some news there about fuel cells. One of the things that I see here is we're actually at a pretty decent support level. I'll go ahead and mark this off as well. This actually looks like a pretty decent support level. So let's see if we actually get any type of volume expansion out of the open here and we can trade back up. Otherwise, one of the things we want to do is we want to mark off some of these near-term tops that we're going to pay attention to. And there are our key levels for today. So let's watch the VWAP, let's watch the volume, and let's watch the flow on this one. Next is going to be ZVSA, and this one popped as high as 4, bled everything back, right? Bled everything back. So although we're still up 20% here, I would say be very, very careful with this one. Again, I wouldn't trust any type of range break to the top on this name at all. I would strictly try to get this off a support level if you think it's going to curl. We'll see if it ends up having any type of movement today. Kind of a bummer that this sold all the way back off. Looking through here real quick, let me take a look at the volume. I think it was GBIO. No, this one retraced a lot too. YS. All right. So these we'll see if these end up we'll see if these end up playing here today. I'm not really sure what's going on with some of these. Didn't have any news here either. So it's also worth noting that despite the Fed decision yesterday, we actually are having some of the banks bounce back here today. FRC, one of those. Now, we've talked a lot about some of these banks recently. A lot of them don't necessarily trust, but they are showing some movement here today. So maybe we'll be able to catch these on a bounce. Janae, that's about all I got. I didn't want to take up all the time. You ready to roll?
Let's get it. All right. We're going to kind of look at Coinbase. I was trying to find levels that I personally like. There's not something that I'm too confident in, but I would just kind of mark them around this area here. Again, not the most confident in these. If I were to try to short it, probably around $69. If it does want to come back to test those levels, maybe nibble a little bit around 67 and then add the whole size at 69, and then above 70, I would stop out. So it's a bit of a tricky play for me, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about it, but I am absolutely going to set some alerts though. That way we can know what's going on and decide for ourselves how we want to play it. And then let's go ahead and take a look at, so I'm going to go ahead and add coin here. And we'll also go ahead and add Square, aka Block. Let's take a look at Block. So 64.54 is an area of resistance that I have. You can see it tried to get up there in the pre-market. It could not. It did find a little bit of support here. So let's go ahead and mark that level off in the pre-market. So you did find support around 57.66. Now we can kind of see how it wants to behave. I actually would not mind. Let me see how much space is. Let's see, right around here. Let's go short 50 shares there. And if it does decide to kind of pop up, we can add an additional 50 shares, and then we'll give it about a point of a stop loss there on block, depending on how it wants to go, because I'm sure you'll have the company respond, so it might get a little bit of a pop. Be very careful with how this one goes. MQ has a relationship with SQ. Okay, well, I can see the drop there. I don't know what the relationship is, but I appreciate you pointing that out. Definitely interesting if you wanted to play this type of stock. Let's go ahead and take a look at AMD. Above 100, right? So oh man, I wanted to go long there. That's fine. Above 100. Now we can kind of see if $100 holds or not. I had this level here simply because you had the retest on that side, but we can see if it wants to hold or if it's just going to continue. Excuse me, if it wants to come back and test it, or if it's just going to continue to the upside. So we'll keep an eye on it, maybe right around here, see how it wants to behave. Because if I do get a close below 100, I would be interested in going short on AMD, but it has kind of gapped up. So obviously it's looking to get a little bit of momentum behind it. But let's go ahead and take a look at the other stock that's around $100, and that's going to be Amazon, as that one is looking to pop and stay above $100 itself. We'll kind of wait and see how this one plays out. But depending on where this closes, my main 4 watches at the moment are going to be AMD, Amazon, Square, and Coin. Coin and Square a little bit further away from entries from what I saw, but we'll see how AMD and Amazon end up working out. Let's go ahead and check out Google. Google on this one, quite a bit away from $100. But if you did want to go short, GME with a little bit of breakdown, I assume. But if you did want to go short Google, you'd got to wait for a break of about 103. So you can see how you had resistance, pop up, retest held, support holding. Buyers couldn't even get a chance to get it right there. And you had it hold one more time in the after hours yesterday. Now, if it wants to go ahead and break to the downside, I need to see that 103 go ahead and take care of itself. Let's go ahead and check out the SPY. Obviously, you had the quote-unquote bloodbath in the last hour or last 30 minutes or so. Where do we go from here? I want to see a break of about 392.50s if I'm going to go ahead and try to take this one short. But maybe even pre-market lows. So let's see. I'm not the most confident in it, so I'm not going to chart anything, except you do have 395 that is holding as resistance. So what I'll do actually is I will go ahead and have about 50 shares here, and then have an additional 50 shares there for us to go short. And then I'll have my stop loss at 395.55. We go ahead and hold that puppy there, and then we've got 60. So we'll go let's go 59 there. Oh, that's not 59. There we go. And then let me just do the same thing to this order here as well. Oops. All right, cool. So our orders are in, our stop losses are in, and now we just kind of wait and see. Now, again, this is going to trigger in the 9:30 bell. It's not going to open pre-market. It's not going to trigger pre-market. It's just going to be if the opening bell needs to come up. Freaks my dogs out. Sorry, yeah, it's not the smoke. It's not the smoke alarm. It's my TD Ameritrade. Excuse me. It's my Thinkorswim alert. My apologies. Every morning I have to mute it. Sometimes I forget. But appreciate you pointing that out. All right. Let's take a look at ON, that $28 level, resistance. We played this one to the long side yesterday. Then it came right back down, had a bit of a retest, and then rejected one more time. So that trade, in my opinion, is kind of done with. So I'm going to leave that one be. Let's go ahead and check out Boeing. As soon as it kind of broke that $200 level, it had the retest, and that one continued to flush down as well. So if you're looking to play Boeing, maybe around $200, but that's not something I see myself playing at the moment. We've got about a couple of minutes before the bell. Let's go ahead and see what we've got.
Really quick. I think it is funny that the alert sound that you chose is similar to the fire alarm. I think that's part of the issue right here. And I got to say, props. Did I call Square the entire time I was talking about it?
I believe you did. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure that I did. So props to you for calling it block, which I guess is the proper name now. Right. Obviously, I'm still stuck in the past there, but good stuff.
It's all right. No worries at all. So let's go ahead and remove all these drawings because they're getting a little bit much. But you do see that, hey, you have support coming in around this area of 308.66, right? You can kind of see, hey, we touched it once, twice, 3 times. So cool. Now you know that, hey, if the Qs go ahead and break this, and on that retest, I am interested in going short on that right over there and see if we can get some points on it, especially if we can visit the 308s or something lower. That would be cool. So there we go. We got that set up for us. We've got the SPY looking to possibly test. I wish maybe it will give us a quick fill, and maybe it will give us a quick stop loss and whatnot. I do not know. But nonetheless, we're less than a minute away from getting triggered on this one, especially if it does decide to go all the way up. Let's take a look at Meta real quick, as that one's popping up, gapping up just like a couple of other stocks. No real opinion there for me. We already talked about Block. We already talked about Square. And now we just kind of wait and see what's up.
One more thing here, PayPal. Voodoo bringing up a really good point that I forgot to mention here. Check PayPal. It's a sympathy move with Square. PayPal might be a good play to the upside. Voodoo, I agree with you here. I think that this actually might be easier, or let's call it even safer, to play for a bounce, as the report is solely about Block. So good call there. Let's watch PayPal here today. There might be some opportunities to trade this.
Yeah, and in the report, I don't know if it has specifics to do with Block in relation to a trend in the payment space, or if it's the payment space.
It's basically Block. Jack Dorsey providing false user counts.
Oh, yikes. That's terrible. Looks like my SPY did get filled, and we're blasting to the upside. So that's not a good look for my short. Could get stopped out here easily. Looks like we popped above pre-market, and then we just kind of started blowing. So that's actually not great. But nonetheless, we're in the trade. We'll see how it quickly goes out. Do you want to see it fail here?
And by the way, whoever mentioned earlier that MQ, that's Marqeta, they had a deal with Square. What is the specifics of that deal? That actually might be a bounce play too. I don't know what the specifics of that deal is, though. I'd like to know more about that. If you have any insight on that, please share it with the group. That might actually help us. By the way, Marqeta up off of the opening print here, bounced to VWAP and got sold a little bit. Let's see if we can actually move through that VWAP on Marqeta. That's MQ.
All right. Quick little stop out. SPY did not realize it was going to pop up right before the bell, but nonetheless did go ahead and stop me out there. So that's a quick loss in the first minute. Here you've got AMD
right
popping
to
down.
The pivot point here today.
You've got AMD coming down, broke the 100. Now we kind of wait and see the first 5 minutes how this settles. Then we can maybe play the retest with a stop loss of 50 cents. Let's see if this ends up being the rejection area or not on the SPY.
I'm kind of watching Square here. I just want to see how it actually handles this low here. Looks like it wants lower, feels heavy here. Next leg down here on Square. We got the day lows here, or pre-market lows. 57.62 is going to be your pre-market low here. Looks like Square is going to go and challenge that here as we continue to sell off.
Yep, got it up on the screen. Let's see how it behaves.
Netflix strong today, right out of the open.
Yeah, Tesla with a nice move. AMD, by the way, this is why we wait for a close, because you can see now AMD coming right back up.
Coin, nice little bounce too. Yeah, Wilson, I'm sorry, man. I keep saying Square, but its name is Block. I will try to be better. I'm sorry about that. MQ creates the cards for the end users. I'd want to think that wouldn't necessarily be all that bad, but you're right. MQ being in a downtrend.
All right, S Square right at pre-market lows. What's it gonna do?
I deserve it, Wilson. That's all good, man. That's all good.
Yeah, you expect a little bit of a bounce from there. But if this cracks and on that retest, yeah, I definitely would be interested. AMD coming back down to the 100-hour level. Can't decide which way it wants to go. Look at that. 50 cents south, 50 cents north. Not sure what it wants to do. Taking a look at Amazon. That one's right around the $100 as well.
PayPal not showing any signs of a bounce yet, but we'll keep an eye on that. Square really needs to bounce up. Nope, new lows and a break below and more new lows here on Block. I just called it Square again.
That's all right.
There's no hope for me, Zune. We're going to need you to bail me out here today.
That's quite all right. No worries at all. But yeah, part of me wants to go ahead and see. Here, let me see what my options look like on this one. Matter of fact, let's see if there are any heavy options coming in. You know what's interesting, dude? There were options on Square yesterday, but I don't swing trade, so I was like, yeah, I'm not going to take this. But they were heavy.
Someone new, huh, Zunaid?
Dude, I'm telling you. Matter of fact, here, let me read it. Let me find it, and I'll tell you exactly.
Was it late in the day by chance?
Let me take a look.
Okay. Because I mean, I see Square from time to time on the option flow, but I didn't notice anything yesterday that was, you know, unique or special or whatever. But I wasn't watching it all day, too. That's the other thing. MQ is a pig. Citron loved it at 25. Yikes. Square trying to bounce here. So it looks like it bounced off that 56.5. Currently back up to 58.5. $2 bounce pretty quick right there. PayPal might find some footing here as well. I just jinxed it, man. Curse of the commentator right there. As soon as I said that, it reversed 20 cents.
Yep, you've got AMD, by the way, that's coming down. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to put a quick short on 100 shares at around 99.96 if we can get the fill. All right, Amazon bouncing from 100, but is it going to crop below or not? Square is slightly below, looking to find some footing. If you're feeling ballsy, you can go ahead and take Square long here and have a stop loss at the lows, right? I mean, you know exactly where your stop loss needs to be. It's about $1. I just don't know if I want to be that ballsy in life. You've got Netflix that's kind of popping up there.
ETNB from yesterday trying to curl off of its VWAP here. We'll see if it can clear out 1475 and then make a move towards that 1550 level that we talked about for a while yesterday. SPY kind of reversing or rejected at its pivot here. Netflix really, really strong out of the gate here. Actually, high relative volume as well. Was there news on Netflix that I missed here today? That's possible. Let me check. Whole bunch of Form 4s coming. Oh no, that wasn't today. No, that was Thursday, March 2nd. So no, let me see what's going on here.
Oh, looks like on AMD, my short did fill. So there we go. We are short AMD. I might look to add. Let's go with another 100 here. All right, my stop loss is going to be the high of the day. So there we go. Risking about $120 to the upside, looking to get about $100, $120 to the downside. And there's the pop above 100.
Jay saying, Ryan, did you see NXT? Yeah, actually I did hear. So the thing, I didn't play this yesterday, Jay. I know that you gave us this as a solar play yesterday. You gave that to us early, right out of the open. This actually took 2 legs up yesterday. Zunaid, if you have a trade here, interrupt me, but I'm going to really quickly chart this. So here's the intraday from yesterday. This, I believe, this move up here, Jay, was when you had first mentioned NXT to us. We actually took another leg up and held it pretty good. Now, we sold off with the market at the end of the day, but we're right back there. When I look on the daily, oh, there it is again. When I look on the daily chart here, this is what I'm seeing, right? To me, the next big move here is going to be, when do we break above this 34.85 level? It looks like this is going to be in play. We'll probably have some type of battle around 34, but it looks like it's going for this here on NXT. Did you give us targets yesterday or a trade plan time horizon, Jay? I can't remember. I'm sorry. Carmen, this is actually good information here. We use SQ, that's of course block, square, whatever you want to call it, in our small retail store. I know a lot of people do that. It's so handy. It has many services that make me stay versus switching to a cheaper provider. I don't know. I think that the short report here is basically just how many users. I don't have access to the Hindenburg report. I'll see if I can find it here on Twitter. But I was following some of the news flow that was coming out of it. To me, I don't know that it's actually going to affect the day-to-day, right? I don't know that you necessarily have to switch or anything like that. I think it was just the doctoring of numbers, the amount of people that it services.
This report is hella big. Like it is.
You have it?
Like the report? Yeah. They tweeted about it.
Okay. Did I just miss it? Nah, probably.
Probably, yeah. I posted it in our Slack, but nonetheless, it's right
Yeah,
there.
that would be. Thank you, Zunaid. Zunaid out here doing
I got you.
legwork for me. Really appreciate it, Zunaid. Let me go through that.
No worries. So here's a trade for me on AMD, right? I went ahead and added an additional 100 shares. So now I'm short 300 at approximately the average price of 100.07. Now, the trade is not looking pretty for me. There's no question about that, as I'm probably going to get stopped out at 147. Now, I got into this trade because the 5-minute candle had closed below. Now that it's above, I might just go ahead and stop myself out here and wait for it to play out. Because if I got in because of the 5-minute, I'm going to get out because of the 5-minute, if that makes sense, right? So now we wait for it to set up. Now, if this could easily come back down, and I could be a dummy for stopping myself out, but I came in because of that. I want to get out because of that. So let's see which way this decides to go, because this could retest 100 and hold. It could flush. There's the flush. But let's see how it behaves around the $100. Taking a look at Amazon, as that one is now going to be one that I can go ahead and play. So I'm going to take that one short. Let's see if that one rejects, but I'm short Amazon now.
What's going on, team? How we doing? I'm back. Just needed a couple minutes to get refocused in, and sometimes you need that, right? I mean, I definitely protecting my Chevron position if it goes through my number, but other than that, nothing on right now out the gates. It's going to take some time here. It's been helping, not for me at least, not the trade right out the gates. So I'm waiting right now. Going to let the market decipher a little bit what it wants to do with the cues. That's really the focus for me today. It's focusing on heavy tech and what's going to happen there.
All right, on my Amazon trade, so I am short 201 shares, and that's just because the way TradingView works, I wanted to have a different legs. So my first leg is going to be a cover at 99.54. Then my second cover will be at around $99. So nonetheless, though, we're in with about 200 shares on Amazon. Let me see if I can get some options as well, actually. We'll get a couple for fun. Who doesn't like a good time? All right, we'll get some weeklies on this one. I'll go ahead and get 2 of them. I went ahead and bought the $100 puts on Amazon, and my fill is, wait for my alert to set up here, 127 is my fill on those.
I mean, there's a lot of these payment services, payment kind of platforms nowadays. I know Stripe is a private one, but used often, right?
Stripe is also one of the biggest, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, definitely. And then there's now Toast. I wonder how this is affecting Toast. Could this get a lift today because of this? Right? I don't know. I'm just calling out different trades there. Not doing much right now, but just taking a look. AAP, yeah, that's one that is up a little bit. We did mention that one. That was Average Joe Trader's outlook on a stock that's superly destroyed on the RSI. It is trying to bounce right now off the 114. We could play that. The Average Joe Trader trade. I don't mind it. If it pulls back here, let's see if we can get the offer to come back to 114 here, because it could pull back a little bit further, right? I want to see this actually get the motor moving before I get too excited. But that's a move back above like 114.50. That doesn't look too bad if it gets there. And it would be like maybe playing entry here at 114, risking off like kind of the daily low, the intraday low right now around 113.40. It's kind of more of a swing trade type, but I kind of like it there. Chevron almost to stop me out, team. If it does get into 159, 17. I'll get out on that one. I've already taken some profits on this, so I'm not really mad if it stops me out. Like always, team, I will break even on the rest. I'm not going to lose on this, but also looking to see if maybe I can potentially day trade drip back to the upside. It's going to be more dependent on what happens in the market today. SPY's actually going up here, so I don't know what's going to happen. We could still get breakouts to the upside in tech. I know tech is definitely overbought. I'll say that. But at the same time, doesn't mean it doesn't have to turn around, right? Looking at AMD trade, Soxel is ripping right now, at least in that case. That's why I'm not jumping too much, but I do think that we got an opportunity for like a Microsoft and Apple on a pullback today to grab it before it really takes off. So that's why I'm looking to see what happens with these stocks today. Was looking to see if Apple was going to pull back to 157, but that was kind of more in the pre-market when it was down there. It's already back to 159. We'll get to the 160s today. Things to think about, right? I don't know what's going to happen. All I'm saying is that as of late, I've been calling out for a while that tech just looks so strong. And if we get back to 410, I'm going to really start getting bullish on this market. And I feel like we're climbing the wall of worry. The banks are going up today. That's another thing I'm focusing on. Banks are actually going up right now versus down. So I'm focusing on that. If banks can climb the wall of worry, why can't these tech stocks, right? Q's going higher here. AAPL is one that I'm looking at right now off the VWAP. If I wanted to day trade this, it'd be off of this kind of 158.80 area. I'd have to risk off of that area for a move back up through 160s. So it's about a, let's say like a 40-cent risk here for an 80-cent gain. So it's a 2-to-1 trade. That's why I'm not jumping in it really quickly. If it was a 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 trade, I don't mind taking it. But to 160, it's only like kind of 2-to-1.
GBIO crossing through its VWAP here on GBIO. Not in this, though. Was a little late to this one. Volume looks good here, though. Big volume. Moving up off that. Darn.
Good mention here in the chat. Snap. That's an interesting chart. It is coming back into the gap zone that we were looking to see if it would come back up through. I've been missing this play. I've tried to play it too, and I've gotten stopped out before. So today, the level that I'd be looking for on Snap is if can you get to 12 and hold 12. You just went through it. Now pulling back. Interesting for a VWAP bounce type of play.
PayPal trying to bounce here off that 72 low print here, 71.88, but definitely trying to bounce off 72. Thank you, Voodoo, for bringing that one.
Kind of like this Snap here. Doesn't look too bad at all.
Netflix definitely woke up, Jay. That thing was strong out of the gate.
See if I can get 78 here. Risk off of like kind of the 70s. I don't mind it for Snap. There it is. All right, there you go. Got 1178 there. Gonna risk off the 1170 here. So only 8 cents of risk for a move back up about 20 cents. I can get some out at 12 and then get the rest out towards 1210s and 1215s. Tight risk to reward here. We'll see what happens on Snap. More based on the daily too. Daily looks like it's trying to get through 12. It just did a little pop through. Let's see if it can actually push through now.
All right, you've got a Coinbase that went ahead and got to the 66.41s. You can see that's where resistance is at the moment. If we go ahead and take a look at the 1 minute, you can see how many attempts it's had to kind of break it. Has not been able to at the moment. And then let's go ahead and take a look at Square. Still holding on to the $58 level. And it looks like my limit order on Amazon did go ahead and get filled. So now we only have 101 shares. Our contracts that we purchased are up 10%. Do with that what you will. I'm going to go ahead and sell. No, I won't. I'll hold on to it. I'm going to be greedy. But what I am going to do is move my stop loss just a little bit lower. Actually, no, I'll keep it. I'll keep it till we get to the 99s. But what I need to do actually is now. See, when you do it all off of TradingView, it gets a little tricky in life. But there you go. We've got our next orders ready to be filled at 99.14. And that's when I'll sell one option as well.
Q's coming back to VWAP. Will we get a downturn here from 945, right? Still early on in the market, team.
Got an order out to sell Amazon short contracts at 150, currently trading at 146. Looking for about 2 more cents. Now 148 on the ask.
Snap back above the VWAP. Let me see if it can actually start pushing here.
Coin's still there. Yeah.
How's Meta doing today? Did get a nice little up move. Now pulling back fast though.
Yeah, now you're about to test the pre-market highs, possibly hold as support. Similar to if you look at the SPY, you can see here, let me go ahead and move this little puppy here. You can see that you had a pop above, and if we go to the 1 minute, you can see that it had a retest of those pre-market highs, and then it bounced up and gave you about a point. Here's Amazon looking to make new lows. We're currently bouncing from 99.31s.
Later in the day, I'm going to look for the SQQQs to come closer towards 32 and then bounce. And then maybe we could get a little bit of some downturn, but that's just kind of later in the day action. Not expecting it too early. There's a first move in snap to the 84s, looking to get towards at least 12 on the first profits. But let's see what happens here. Can it really move? See if the volume comes back.
GameStop reclaimed the $23 level. We'll see what happens there. Someone asked, is Square going to keep falling? I do not know. But what I do know is this $58 area is the battlefield right now for bulls and bears. So if this cracks on the 5-minute retest or something like that, I'd be interested in going short via puts. At the moment, the only position I have right now is going to be the Amazon trade with the shorts. And you can see I've got the puts at 123, and I've got 100 shares remaining on the short side as well. Also keeping an eye on AMD if this one wants to close above, but keep in mind it's relatively strong, right? So it's not the best short that you can have in life, which is why I wanted to go with Amazon as it did break $100.
He's holding the VWAP right now. We'll look to see if it makes almost like a quadruple top on the 5 minutes. It's topped out multiple times around, let's say, the 310.80s, 310.85s. TD giving me a little alert there. TTD pushing towards 60.50. This one doesn't look too bad on the daily. It is starting to push higher through the 59. TTD, not looking too bad today. It's just an alert that I had. I like the weekly chart also for TTD. You guys can see here, look at this chart. Look how it's been building. You know, look at this long-term like weekly trend. It's gotten up here before, now pulled back, starting to get strong again. Doesn't look too bad here, TTD. There's Snap starting to get a nice little lift here. I get it to 12. Got this one at 78 on this pullback. Let's get to towards 12, take some profits, and then look to see if we get the actual run. Daily run is really what I'm looking for. You could look at it a little bit closer and easier on like a 4-hour chart also. We just filled this gap. Do we hold that on pullbacks and start actually expanding for this high, which is 1267? Next stop really around the 1235s through 12s.
Let's see what's coming in here.
And draw these levels to kind of watch as we get up there for profit takes. All right, sector overall, let's take a look at that action. Right now, leading the day is energy, basic materials behind that, real estate behind that, then technology still up on the day. One thing to note is it looks very green on the market right now in the sector wise. We'll see if that flips though, right? It's been strong all day, but will this flip now? Microsoft making a little bit of a bottoming action around 275.50s. Will this make another run? That's what I'm looking at for the tech names today. It's all about what happens to these bigger boys. You can see Apple's just still sideways right now. Will it take the up move through 160 or the down move through this kind of like 150, 70? Qs overall, you can see this topping area that I've been trying to point towards, the 310.70s, 310.80 area. We just went up there to 310.66 now. Just be careful with that. If it gets through that, it could probably push higher. But if we make another topping action there, that could be the signal that it wants to kind of crack back down. Just keep an eye on it. Snap, 88s. Come on. Let's go, Snap. Shout out to the people in the chat that mentioned Snap. Like always, you know, you guys didn't tell me to trade it, but I took a look at it. I liked it. Smash it up.
All right, sorry about that. Had to handle something on Pro.
All right, we'll see. We got there towards 1189. Still haven't really given that breakout look. We'll see if we get it. Now you can draw kind of this trend line, a couple taps here towards the 1190s. Let's see if we take off through the 12. Chevron still like kind of just flirting around my levels. So I could look for some names like that to start turning around. Let me see if they do turn around here. If Drip kind of bottoms and all of a sudden starts giving us a strong move back to the upside. Not going to take it early, but I could also do Gush, right? Gush. Could look to see Gush turn around. That's another way. Does this top out and then just all of a sudden come right back down? Keeping an eye on some names out there.
Still in
like
this
always,
Amazon.
Throw it up in the chart. Throw it up in the chat if you guys see anything moving. BAC trading higher after outperformance rating. There you go. Some banks still moving up. Seems like it. I'll put you up, Zune. What you got going on?
Yeah, we're still in this Amazon short from 99.95. Stop loss is going to be 155. Looking to take gains around 99.14. We're still also in those contracts as well. Looking to sell the first piece at 150, I believe is my limit order out there. Yeah, 150. So we're currently about 9 cents away. If it does come down to about the 99.14s, we should get rid of one. I did add one more when this came back and tested it. You can see, just for transparency purposes, you can see as promised, I had purchased 2 of them. And then when it came back to test it, I had purchased one more at 114. So now we've got a total of 3. One of which we will look to sell at 150.
All right. I think I'm just staring at the Qs and those double tops kind of in that area. We keep stopping around it. Now we stopped again at the 310.66. So just more long seeing. Are we going to push through 310.75 here on a 5-minute and close above? Or if we keep testing here, a lot of times we'll come back and test support, which is 309 on the longer term, right? That's where I get a little bit concerned for some flip in the tech. But just keeping an eye on it as I'm also in Snap.
So I've got 3 contracts on these Amazon puts. All 3 will be exited with a stop loss if they go ahead and break 155. The first one will be exited when we get to around $99. The second one will be exited around 98.80s, as that's near the previous close, which is this red dotted line. And then the third one, I would probably just have it break even and see how if it just kind of has a trend day to the downside, or how it kind of behaves. Because then that third one kind of ends up being one that, quote unquote, I'm looking for a home run of 100% gainer or something like that. So we'll see. At the moment, those contracts are up about 10%. I assume when they get to around 98.80, those will be around 20%. And then we can see if we can get at least 100. Coinbase, let's see if that's holding. Coinbase is still, Block is still holding that $58 area.
Not liking this team, at least how the Qs are just topping here again. Same thing that I just talked about. Look at the Qs top again. Same spot, right? From this candle here, the 35. 310.73s, we just went to 310.72. Are we going to get through that and close a 5-minute above here towards 310? 311. Let's find out.
If I had to bet your money, I'd probably say yes. But again, that's because it's your money.
Well, you kind of are. That would mean the Snap goes to 12. Let's do it.
Because you've also got higher highs on those 5 minutes, right? So if you look at the 5-minute on the Qs charts you showed, you have higher highs every single time, which obviously doesn't help my Amazon trade. But hey,
There's 1194s for snap, almost to the 12. We'll take majority of it out there and then look for the rest for a nice little runner there. Almost there, 1197s. Can we just get a little breakthrough here? Let's see.
I got to go, guys. I'm sorry.
Take care,
No
buddy.
worries. All right, 1197s. Can we get through 12? Let's go. Let's go. Get through that 12. Come on. Watching the cues, right? We're at like the 310. You see how that it's slowing down though by that 311. I'm looking to see if we get that little push in the 311s. That's probably when I snap through 12. Snap, snap. Pun intended.
LOL.
Let's go.
Coinbase.
98.
Trying to get above.
I'm getting a little picky here. Let's go. Come on. A little more momentum there. All right, now I see the meta pulling back. That doesn't look that great, but I'm trying to give it a chance on the cues. See the cues are pulling back to that 1073. Don't like it, team. I'm going to take majority of it right there. Majority of it and 1192s as I see the cues. Now I'm just going to look to this 5-minute candle. I'll hold snap if this candle on the cues can break 311s. If it doesn't, I'm going to probably just get out, break even on the rest of snap. Just going to try to let this work here. There's the 311 push. Now I'm going to look for that 12 push on snap.
All right, we're above VWAP on this Amazon. Now above $100.
Amazon, I got you. Apple pushing strong. Amazon is weak though. I think relative to the big boys, that's probably the area that at least Zunaid on the big boys that I see weak.
Yeah.
AMD's a little bit stronger. That one's pushing a little bit more. Kind of the tech names I feel like are holding up a little bit more. The specialty retailers, that's probably not holding up as strong. Let's see if Baba's red. Yeah, that's red too. Melly's actually a little bit in the green. We're just taking a look at some different ones, right? Specialty retail is where Amazon's in. There's 12 on snap there, team. So maybe just sold a little too early, right, on that downturn. Could have waited, but I'm just worried about the Qs doing a quick turnaround today. So I would rather take quick profits. And at this point, now can look to see if Snap can really break towards kind of the 1218s. Next stop, take some profit there and just keep riding the wave up. Not a bad VWAP bounce trade on Snap. VWAP was 1177. I have 1178. And this is a 5-minute. I've been using more and more, trying my best not to be so 1-minute chart focused, team. It is, if I go into the entry in a 1 minute, that's fine. But when I look at the charts, I want to be looking at it and feeling it more and more off to 5, 15, and hourlies. That's for me, right? Doesn't mean that you guys got to follow that, but just showing you guys my process. Just focus,
Coinbase,
right? Focus.
Coinbase still seeing a little bit of a bounce from the 58 area again. Back. Let's see if we can break this.
Pushing. We got to 311.50 there. Did Apple take off here? Yeah, Apple through 160. We were talking about that, right, for a little while. Apple now 160. This pre-market 157, like when it was at 157.50s, oh, this was a gift. This is the gift on Apple, it looks like, because we don't even get a chance to it today. In the pre-market, right out the gates, it went to like 158.60, but I wanted 157 if I wanted to kind of swing on Apple. But look at the daily chart. Look how it's starting to claim this close price. And now if it can get through yesterday's high, which is 162.14, this is going to look like a big breakout. And one thing I've been calling for a while, golden crosses on the big tech. I see them all around. I know that not many people trade them, but what I use them for is more description, that these stocks are really starting to change their tune. And I think something that we need to pay attention for. Q's still kind of slowing down after that 311.50 touch, back to 311. I think I just continue to watch it and make sure that we're holding around the 310.75s, at least for the quick trend, the short-term trend. If it cracks that, I could see a VWAP test, but let's see what happens on the day. Still green, essentially, on the Qs, and that's why I'm watching the Qs today, because they're so, like, heavily tech-weighted, right? We could still watch the SPY. Similar action there. Some toppings around 396. We went to 396.50s. Let's see if this 5-minute candle closes above 396 on the SPY. Snap could not continue the push there, and it could come all the way back to VWAP here. So just going to be watched really quickly. Might just take the money and run and snap. This is one of those days I want to be nimble, not be too focused on one trade, right? I think that's an important level. Kind of keep in mind mindset today. I want to be nimble.
What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4 on that. That's 4. That's 3.
Q's about to close this 5-minute candle. I want to see if it closes above 311. Below 311 close, I'm going to actually take my money and run and snap.
All right, call me crazy. I did go and purchase. Wait, did I purchase or what did I do? Yeah.
No worries. Just focus in right now. Just focus in. You got this.
That's interesting. I don't know why that's not showing up properly, but did it sell one? No, it didn't. Anyway, whatever.
About 3
there
or 4
it is.
seconds here.
I added a contract on the Amazon short, so now I have 4 with an average price of 122. Currently down 7% on those contracts as they're trading at 115.
Only thing that's holding me in this is the Q's holding that level for me, that right on the Q there, this level that I'm watching. I'll make it thicker so you guys can definitely see it.
Netflix with a beautiful move to the upside.
Netflix moving strong. You know what I'd look at? Disney likes to play catch up sometimes to Netflix, especially if the trends can continue on the day. I like the way this looks above 96, pulling back now to the VWAP. And I don't even like Disney, but hey, Netflix going to move. I sometimes look at Disney. Q's holding there. The Q's are holding.
Let's see.
Snap is just kind of battling right now. I'm looking to see if they take the 1190s again. Disney looking like it wants to take that 96 move, but I don't know if I trust it with the Q's. Staying strong, but we could flip at any moment, I think.
Amazon back above 100.
Oh, got it up in the middle chart here. All right, what's going on out there, team? How we looking out there? Money Mitch, changing name to Jack. Be nimble, be quick. Candlesticks. This time, every day is one of those days that is choppy. Chop, chop. All right, not seeing much here. Snap just doesn't want to give that nice push here back into the 90s. So through 86, I'll get out. So 85 is pretty much. There we go. Ooh, literally hit it for a second. I have my hand on the trigger. 85s. I'm out. Boom. Taking the gain there on Snap. Quick gain set. Now let's see what happens to the Qs. This next 5-minute candle, wherever it closes, is really important for me. Does it close above 311.50, below 310.73s? Do we get continuation in the tech names? I'll look for SOX L to see if that continues to show the tech is just kind of pushing and pushing. Microsoft is on the lag versus the bigger names that are already pushing off, like Apple, Microsoft, Apple, Google pushing off already. So I'm seeing Microsoft as kind of that laggard if I wanted to take it towards like 279, 280s. There's Snap recovering there. So maybe I just got out at the wrong time. Hey, to each his own, right? I'm just going to go ahead and take the profits, focus on another name. It wasn't giving me that much either. I can go ahead and look at some other ones. But that was a nice one there today. Hughes now pushing 311.40s. Microsoft wants to push. Let's see. Apple, will it get back to the 160?
All right, you've got a square that went ahead, or block that went ahead and moved above. It's continued to hold at 58. Now it's at the 60s, looking to continue its highs. You've also got Amazon, where my stops have now been moved down to 131. If it breaks 131, I will go ahead and get out of these. Or if the 5-minute candle closes above 100, I will go ahead and get out. Let's also take a look at Tesla, as that one's looking to break above. So you can see that it's finally above the resistance level of approximately 198, excuse me. I am going to go ahead and grab, let me see what calls I have. I've got the Tesla $200 calls on Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim. You know what? Also going to go ahead and kind of like the risk reward here. And we'll see if we can get approximately $200 on Tesla or not.
Market looks like it wants higher. We'll see if it does. Give us that next lift. Still all sectors into the green.
Amazon short stopped out. Contract stopping out right here for 25% loss. I'm out.
Snap going higher through that 1206 now. Meta not looking too bad. My charts here. Meta getting higher there. Google pushing strong, man. Now towards 106.80s. This stock has been on an absolute tear. Look at the weekly candles there on Google. They barely pulled back on this big weekly candle. It's a nice move there. Airbnb moving into the green today. Kind of like this outlook here. We're going to really get green. Some of these stocks are going to play a little catch up. How are the growth names doing today? Look at this. This is interesting. ARKK. Some of these names are actually doing great, even though coins is getting destroyed. PACB doing well. Unity doing well. Roku taking off here. Looks like some of these growth names just moving, team. So I keep an eye out on to see what happens with growth today. But even Tesla pushing. A lot of stocks strong today. Shop giving a nice little lift here. We'll see if this turns around. But growth names, it looks a little bit like risk on. So I'm going to keep an eye on these moves, but not a bad move there from some of the Kathy names. There's Snap now continuing, so might have sold it early, but hey, it is what it is. Getting up there to the 210s, we'll look to see if that can continue. SPY up there to 397, right back. I know a lot of people were looking negative today, so maybe too many people looking to the bear side. We'll see. There's the Qs now pushing through that 311. Could try to play catch up on Microsoft, but that'd be kind of more like I'd have to use a lot of capital to try to get that remaining little move here. But it does look good there for a nice little lift. Already missing some of this tech trade, so we'll look to see if some of it can turn around.
On Tesla, you've got the contracts moving nicely to the upside there. Purchase those around. Let me see where the purchase price is when I pull up the Thinkorswim. Purchase price was about 205. Sold some at 250. Now the next target for me, let me go ahead and pull up my charts here. Let me actually switch some stuff.
Interest ripping too. So that Snapchat doesn't look too bad.
All right. Here, let me. So here you go. Again, got the ladder up on my Teslas. So you've got stops ready to go here at around 185 on those contracts, and the next sell order is around 284. And we'll see how it plays out. You can see it was just kind of bouncing up and down, finally broke out. We'll see if it goes ahead and holds. If not, we will go ahead and get stopped out. And here's the chart of Tesla itself. As you can see, it continued to try and get above this 198. Finally did. Now 199 is acting as resistance. I want to go ahead and sell around 200 in terms of the equity, which y'all see right here on Tesla.
And gold continuing higher. Looking around the market, team. X not having too bad of a day.
Coinbase continues to find resistance at 66.41.
Drug manufacturers getting a lift today. Lilly getting a nice little push. That looks interesting. I know that Sanofi SNY had some good drug news that was having them lift. Not taking too many trades right now. I am in the green with Snap, but just kind of in wait mode now because we're just too extended to the upside for me to jump into these trades. But still holding strong. AMD towards 101. NVIDIA, how's that one doing? That one's at VWAP. That's interesting. Maybe that one gives us a little bit of a sign if we do break early. So keeping an eye on a name like NVIDIA that has been really strong. It's not as strong today to the market as some of the other names, right? Do we start seeing a little bit of topping action first show up in NVIDIA? I'm going to take a look here to see if that's what we get, the signal. Square. I don't like playing names like this that like there's just too much unknown about what happened there, right? Is the short report good? Is the short report bad? What will the company respond? There's too much uncertainty there for me.
Let me see, where is the...
What do you think about AAP almost oversold on the weekly? Yeah, it's really interesting to see that one just get pounded and pounded. I don't understand the story of why this one doesn't get the love. So with that one being mentioned, I'm not going to take the shot on it because I don't understand the story. A lot of times when I'm taking these swing trades, especially if it's something based on something that like oversold, I want to understand the story. I want to look into the fundamentals. I want to take a look at the analyst notes. What are they saying? I want to do a little bit more deeper dive, but I understand why people are looking at AAP. We talked about that one on Start Swing Trade, and it is definitely, without a doubt, oversold. On the daily, I mean, you're down to 5. Yesterday, you were at 5. Today, we're at 5.3. Yesterday, 5.12. Yeah, 5.12. And the day prior at 8. There's not many times that RSI gets down here and doesn't eventually get you a bounce, but that eventually could really cost you. That's why whenever I have those kind of statements, I try my best not to think about them like they're a must, right? Anything in trading, especially if it's an indicator or even a system, is never 100%. AI, I got you. I'll take a look there. AI ripping, nice little move there, AI. Of course, this is why I think Google could be continuing higher because of their BARD testing out there. Is this just getting the lift? Remember, this one got hit because it mentioned the BARD thing, and that brought it back down from 108.50s. It's almost all the way back. So it could get through that level and be even higher than it was just a couple of weeks ago. So I think that what you might see today, and this is just longer term thinking, not about the day trade action this second, but if we continue this big push in tech all day long, by the end of the day, I think you'll see all the talking heads thinking, oh, FOMO on the tech names. That's where we got to be careful, right? Because as traders, we could definitely get dragged by the media to start looking at tech. The truth is tech has been ripping since the beginning of the year. Google's up significantly from the beginning of the year. Apple's up significantly from the beginning of the year. Microsoft. I think that these bigger boys, these bigger money managers were definitely dipping their toes at the beginning of the year towards tech stocks. And tech could be the leading sector of the year. Who knows, right? So one thing I'm definitely watching is which names are playing catch up versus which names have already gone too far, looking for those to pull back, and then looking for names that haven't gone to maybe play a little catch up. And yes, the mustard over ketchup? No, ketchup over mustard, man. Come on. Eye on Apple. Apple went through that 160, continuing higher now. That was one that we were looking at, but it was just a little risky there. off the 159. I wanted it, maybe that like a day trade made sense there on Apple, but I didn't want to swing it up there. It was a little bit too high for me. Qs, did we turn around yet? Ooh. Just kind of stair-stepping its way up, right? Stair-stepping and climbing the wall of worry. What are the banks telling us? Banks are just holding on by a cent here on JPM. Let's see if this all of a sudden gives us big red. Bank of America is telling me something here, at least. Look how this is kind of slowly but surely dragging to the downside. This is where we could get a little bit some lead, right? Does financial services go into the red here? So that's what also I'll be watching for, team. I'm going to be looking at that sector. Right now, it's up about 0.31 from the open. Do we get a hard downturn there? That's when I think you could get the drag to start coming back to the market, where let's say banks just start dragging us a little bit. We'll find out.
You've got Tesla that crossed above 199, almost made it to 200, but not quite just there. Missed it by about 70 cents or so. And you've got the Coinbase that went ahead and hit 66.41 area and then came right back down. And of course, you have a bounce on block there as well.
Smash the like, team. We got over 537 of you guys right now. So hit it up, team. Let's see if we start seeing the turnaround here as I'm starting to see things slow down. Doesn't mean that it could, completely break, but I'm even looking at maybe a success reversal trade right now. Let's see what happens. Let's go to the 1 minute, see how that would look. We've gotten 1 attempt, 2 attempts, 3 attempts. I'm going to look to see if we attempt to go through 710 here and recover and start pushing back through the 1720s here. But got to be slow into this name. Reversals, you got to hold, for me, really tight on the risk to return. And I like to look them up more on the 5 minute for a double bottom and then it coming right back up. The bodies can close here around 715s and create that kind of look. Last wick on the 5 minute went to 1707. Let's see if we get that reversal type of trade. He's just holding up. Snap coming back down below 12. What's going on out there, team? Amazon says Diamond Empress. What you want about Amazon? You just trying to take a look? Let me know. What you looking at, the beach bum? Quantum, what you got? Smoke Tuna calling out the spot.
Come on, Tesla. You got Amazon coming back to test 100. Let's see if it breaks or holds or what it wants to do. You now have SPY looking to test the previous resistance area. 265 puts. That's interesting. Hang on one sec. You've got puts coming into NVIDIA. I'm going to take a look at those. Let's see what those NVIDIA puts are. Looks like you've got the 265 puts coming in on the ask expiring this week, approximately $100,000 worth. So nothing too crazy, but still something of interest if it can break this 271 area. But otherwise, we're hands off.
Just watching the leaking, see if we're going to turn it around. One of those days, baby.
You've got about a $2-3 range on Coinbase at the moment, about $64 and 66.40s.
It's interesting. NVIDIA is actually below VWAP now. Remember, I was kind of pointing out how it's weak relative to the market. It's interesting to see it below VWAP. While still a lot of these tech names are pretty strong, right? Like AMD is near the top of the range. Give it a similar stock to take a look at.
Nick, you can check out Benzinga Pro as they have an unusual options scanner there. You can also feel free to DM me as well, and I can help you out.
Yeah, unusual options. I can show that. I don't use them. I don't use them too much just because I don't trade options. But the options traders absolutely love that feature from Benzinga. So if you're an options trader and you're not getting those alerts, definitely check this out. You can get a 2-week trial if you guys want to go ahead and take a look.
All right, Tesla now looking to crack the 198. Again, that was previous resistance. Now it could be support. Let's take a look at Amazon. Is that one just touched 100? See how that behaves. And you see the SPY bounced from the previous resistance. Didn't even quite get a chance to test it.
Getting that test here for success to the downside. Going to see if the Qs break through the highs there. If not, going to start looking for a reversal style trade. Just makes sense for me, at least in the day trade here. So find out if it works out or not. Ooh, some oil trade looks interesting for me now. XOM. I like that actually better even. This is more swing for me on XOM. All right, trying to get short some XOM at 105.70s. Oof, just went away from my entry there. Just gonna chase a little bit there. Get the entry there at 105.63s. XOM, swing trading that to the downside here off 106.10. So very small risk here. Looking for it to start cracking through the 105 on the downside for the day. Of course, I'm already short on Chevron, so it's kind of like double dipping in oil, but I like the setup there. I can add in the 80s, but we'll see what happens there. There's success making that move now to 710 and actually just dipping below that. I like that. If it can start coming its way back through 710, I could risk off of 17 there. Could also take this similar trade with drip. Drip higher through 16. That doesn't look too bad. On the oil trade, like if I wanted to just do this instead of the success trade. We'll stick to the oil swing to the downside. There's the Qs a little bit higher. So let's see if this flips, or does it just continue to ride the wall of worry? Seems like that's what we're doing. Look how this success trade has looked. It's impressive. Just downturn, downturn, downturn. Q's giving that push through that 312. We're going to look to see all of a sudden this will become a 5-minute red candle. That would be that fake out to the upside. But if it keeps closing and closes back above 312s, this could just continue climbing the wall of worry. Another way you can look at this is just putting kind of like a trend line here, right? You can see how we just started to climb from those 310s.
You got Tesla looking to make another move towards 200s.
Yeah, Christopher, Marin, I think one of the things that I used to struggle with often was trying to make the market logical. The truth is the market is not logical. It's not made of participants that know everything about the markets, right? It's made up of a lot of about participants that can make up their collective minds, right? And that's what the market shows us. And the collective mind can be wrong sometimes. So trying to make things rationalizing it, right? Logical, that sometimes can really hurt our mentality, right? And that's the hard part about trading, that it's not just like I read this book and I make profits. That's not the way it works, team. That's the truth. And I talk about this all the time. Yes, should you still read the book? Yeah. But that doesn't mean that it just gives you the answer. I think that's an important thing to always think about. XOM now 105.59. That looks good for me on that oil trade. So I like that outlook. I see the Qs turn right back around. I want success here for the reversal style trade. Taking a little bit here. Boom, just got a little bit. If it pulls back, I can hold to 17, slightly below that. Maybe I'm going to do 16.98 here. But let's see if we start getting reversal action from SOX S. So to look for the Qs not to get back through 312s, just to get perspective on how I'm going about this, right? We'll see if we start getting a nice reversal action here. And I'm going to play it back to the VWAP. It's not all the way, let's say, to 18 on SOX S for me, but I'm willing to play it there to the VWAP. 17.11 is the entry. Let's start seeing if we reverse. So this is that line here for me that I don't want to see it get cut through again. It can touch it, but I don't want to see that get cut. So I'm going to take this one off here. But let's see what happens now. Do we break this trend line and start to turn round? XOM, I'm looking for this to come lower. This is the oil swing. Also Chevron, looking for it to come lower, right? But of course, I'm in at 159 on this one above here, but looking for that to come lower. Drip would be the 16 move higher. So calling out all different styles of trades. Like you guys, like always, make your own investment decisions, your own levels. You're here to kind of learn the process approach. That's what it's all about.
You've got Block now looking to test the 6190 area, which it had a little trouble getting through in the pre-market. Now looking to test it. The 58's held. Now we're all the way up there. You've got Tesla that's testing support one more time. Let's see if it cracks. So you saw a bounce there. You saw it trading at the moment right there. Let's go ahead and check out Amazon, as that did go ahead and bounce from 100, gave you about 50 cents. Now what does it do? Break above or break down? Of course, we are in the long, so we don't want Tesla to fail here. But it very well may.
All right, taking a look to see if we can actually get this crack. We still haven't gotten it, really. The oil trade's not looking bad at all, but the Qs really haven't cracked that back down. That's a move towards like 311. HD to the downside, mentioned in the chat. Bank of America trading higher. We'll see if that continues to trade higher. Is it trading higher? I know I started seeing that turn around. Yeah, that doesn't look, it's not trading higher from the open now. Maybe higher from the close, but not higher from the open. I think that's important to note. There's the Qs, finally, nice little turnaround there. You can see here now how it's rejecting, coming back down. I'm expecting that SOX S trade to start jumping here. I could add to this SOX S trade right here and still risk off of kind of the recent low, 1705. But I'm going to keep it simple, team. Let's see what happens here. XOM coming lower, so the oil timing doesn't look too bad. Let's see it drip through 16. There you guys have it. Went back to VWAP, now back through 16, 1607, 1609s. Doesn't look too bad there for the drip trade. I didn't take that one. That's more day trading style, but I took the swing on XOM to the downside. Dun, dun, dun. How those big boys looking, Zunaid? Are they flipping or what? What do you see out there?
Yeah, so you've got the Tesla that's coming down here. I'm actually going to go ahead and close this position here on the long side, as that one's coming down a bit. Keeping an eye on Block. Let me put my charts up. You've got Block that's looking to pop up about above 62 here. Interested to see what the options look like in terms of a short. Let's see what we got.
XOM now to 105.15s. That's looking good. Q's trying to recover. Let's see if it recovers 1175. Didn't make it to 311s there. Trend line's right above that 1175, so that's why I kind of mentioned that level. How's Apple looking? I was like a really strong one. Got the 160.50s. Starting to turn around. Google got almost a 107. Microsoft made a little bit of a lift, but it didn't really take off through intraday high. It got close to the intraday high. NVIDIA that was kind of weak earlier, right back down towards 272s. A lot of topping in NVIDIA. It looks intraday for me like a head and shoulders play. But of course, that's such a low rewarding kind of trade that I'm not going to take it based off of that, right? I could take it still off of the trade, but it'd be more like a bracket type of trade than thinking about it like a head and shoulders. It just looks like one for me in the intraday. Can show you that right here, this NVIDIA. You can see how it kind of like wicks here. So it looks kind of like, you know, a head and shoulders, but really it's more about what happens here, right? Because this is a bullish engulfing candle, right? We're going to talk about these definitely on our Japanese candlestick trading book. This is a bullish engulfing candle. So really, it's not really a negative move until you break this body, which is around the 207, 272.02 level. So if that breaks on the downside, yeah, that would be a little bit concerning there. It's kind of like a fake out candle there. We'll see what happens. Q still didn't get back to 312, so at least that makes me a little bit more confident in this success, but it still hasn't taken off, right? Still hasn't given me that move to like 311. The Qs get down to 311s, this will be looking a lot better for that reversal style trade. Anything through that 312s could squeeze me out. And it continues some tech names, right? Move to 312, I could see some tech names kind of continuing to push.
All right, we've got an interview coming up later today at 11 o'clock, so I'm going to go get ready for that, but we will see y'all at 11. Sorry. But we're going to have an interview with ticker COYA. Let me go ahead and get that up. Coya Therapeutics, but I'm going to head out. I'll see you guys back at around 10:55 or so. The only thing that I can mention here, let me put my charts up, is if you're looking at Amazon, wait for the $100 break in the retest. If you're looking to go short, if you're looking to go short on the Qs, I mean, right now to me is a decent spot, but if it breaks 63, I'd go ahead and get out. And then if you're looking to go long Tesla, you want it to reclaim this 198. Otherwise, I would go ahead and not be in the trade at all. You want this 197 to hold, but you want the 198 to also be reclaimed. You can see how many times right here it has held as support. So you want it to continue holding right here as well. And you want that reclaim of 198. In terms of Coinbase, that's still within that range that we've identified of 64 and 66.50s. We'll see which way that breaks. But I'll see you guys in a bit. Later, Mitch.
Later, my friend. Have a good one, man. Take care. All right, team. We're going to keep going. Zunaid will be back in a little bit to do an interview. So stick around, team. You'll see Zunaid. I'm going to take a look here. I just added to SOX there on that pullback at 17.15s. About half of my original entry there. So I didn't want to change my average too much. So I changed it up about 1 cent on that pullback to 15s. Right now, I'm going to look to see if we can actually get this move towards the 17.25s. That's going to give me a little bit more conviction. We just need, the Qs are still just kind of playing around with this. Let's see if it fills this box here and comes down to the downside. And if the Google trade can turn around, will NVIDIA break down? That's what another one that I could look at if I wanted to kind of trade to the short side. That doesn't look too bad. And overall, the daily has multiple highs around the same area, 275.89s, 275.63s. So do those start acting as resistance and we just don't get back up there? That's something to think about, right? I mean, we'll see what happens there in NVIDIA today, but it does look a little bit weak here. Of course, this is what I'm looking at. You guys take everything with a grain of salt. Smash that like button if you guys enjoy the action here. And like always, hit the subscribe. We're going to keep pushing here. All right, let's keep going, team. How we doing out there? Beach Bum, Quantum. Where's Ryan? He out there rhyming? Yeah, Ryan had to take a little bit of a dip out today, team. He'll be back though, like always. You know, Ryan. He wishes he could be here and trading all day. To tell you the truth, I know he loves trading that much, just like I do. All right, there's the cues testing towards 312s again there. So it seems like we don't want to let go. We didn't even come back to VWAP. That shows you how strong on the day the tech names want to hold right now. Now we're just to find out, does it hold or does it cut? That's what we're going to find out through. And you guys will know because I'll be getting out of that success trade more than likely. We'll find out here. Not going to push it too much, right? Got to stay smart. All right, trade is pulling back there. I'll get stopped out through the 17s. Don't want to hold there. About 1698s, I'll hit that out. All right, team. There's the cues now pushing a little bit higher, so could get stopping me out here. Unless this trend reverses, right? So you see this trend line, right? It needs to come right back down below. If not, it can catch the trend line and recover. And when it recovers, a lot of times you'll get these names to recover. Like let's take a look at some other ones. Apple just stayed strong. That tells me a lot. I'm telling you, these high-tech names, the big money is just loving this trade, team. About to get stopped out there, probably in success. Big money, I feel like, is just loving the tech trade. They're making a lot of money on this trade. That's why I think they're loving it. See, a lot of people weren't really looking for kind of the tech names to take off so much, but they really have since the crisis, if we can call it that, right? I mean, I don't know what we're going to call this, but maybe it's the financial scare of 2023 versus a crisis, right? Still in that success, it just reversed a little bit off that 1701. So, you know, cracking through that 17 is definitely going to get me out. But definitely Apple just looks strong here. Look at Apple in the middle. Doesn't seem like these want to turn around anytime soon. I'm in it. Never mind. Almost everything on my list is green. So weird. Yeah. It really is one of those days. It's climbing the wall of worry day. That's what we call this a lot. And it doesn't matter. Like, I could stop out of this like easy. I know like you were like, get out, get out. I can't blame you for saying it either. I'm just sticking to the trade, right? So sometimes when we get into this mode, I can get really subjective, right? There's the break of the cues, trying to break through this. It's trying, but it could put a little bit of a wick, right? So I'm just going to stick to the trade the way I planned it, right? And it's okay. If I get out on that one, that's fine, right? I think what matters more is trying to stick to the trade, stick to the plan, and then just trying to execute from there, right? I can't try to think I know what's going to happen because that's when I really start making mistakes. NVIDIA. It's kind of playing right now, right? Will it kind of make this up move? It came back, but didn't touch this big candle that we talked, the bullish engulfing candle, right? We're going to talk about lessons like this in our book club this weekend. We have over 400 members in our book club. So definitely, if you guys haven't joined already, check it out. We're going to be diving deeper into patterns just like you see on the screen. You want to learn more, reversal style trading, whatever it is. There's a lot to talk about. Japanese candlestick charting techniques. Find out. All right. It looks like you see how you're putting in a little bit more of a wick there. That's why I'm wondering, does it turn around? Does it just keep climbing the wall of worry? It could. It could easily just keep climbing today. I have no problem if tech keeps climbing. I know a lot of people are thinking this is really overbought, and it is. It is, but that doesn't mean that it can't keep going. The momentum in the big tech names just show me that it could just drive. Next thing you know, you have everyone playing FOMO, right? And so that's the interesting part about this market, is that it still has an opportunity to do this kind of throwback look, break towards like 410s, and then really give us a kind of breakout levels towards 420s. So I know that a lot of people are looking negative into the market, but if the banks can hold and not get destroyed, right? If there isn't no more crisis, if there isn't no more bank worry, are we going to see these tech names just be too strong and then they just take off? Could very much happen. What's the book? It's Japanese Candlestick Charting Techniques. And if you want to join, I can throw up the book club link so that you can kind of join and get it together. What we do is we just discuss, team. We talk about the book. We go through chapter by chapter. We talk about certain lessons, like we're going to do reversal patterns. I'll probably bring this trade to that reversal pattern, see if I was right or wrong for taking this kind of trade. But this is that similar style of trade, right? I think this is what it's all about, is learning from our mistakes. That's what we do. And then we're going to be bringing other like charts, live charts, how we see them, and kind of talk about that, right? Look at Bank of America. It's trying to reverse here. We'll find out. Qs are just hanging through on that trend line. So probably going to get stopped out here. And you can see how it just held on that trend line, right? That's why I sometimes draw them, right? That could tell me to get out if I wanted to, a recovery of this trend line. But it is what it is. I see the SOXS just holding, and there we go. We're out there. SOXS loss on that day on SOXS. We still got the snap winner, right? So not looking too bad there, but it happens, team. And now the Q's going a little bit higher. We could see this trade just continue. We could see NVIDIA actually push up here. We could see AMD continue to climb. Micron has been really strong today. This is one that I'm really going to be a little upset about, because I was watching the tech trade down here in the 54s, and this one just been taking off now. Now it's up 15% from that day. And that was when the bank crisis was actually getting stronger. This is why I feel like everyone's like just bank worries, but the market is telling us that it wants higher. At least that's what I see from the price action. And a lot of times price action doesn't lie. So we'll see if we can continue just climbing the wall of worry today as the SPY goes higher and hasn't even made a kind of move back to the VWAP since about 9:45. So there you guys see it. Looks like a strong day today. Not going to be mad about that as we continue to get higher. What's going on out there, team? SQ climbing back up. I'm not going to touch it, but I'll look at it. There it is. It is climbing back. It's trying to make the wall of worry back up. PayPal positive. That one's positive. There you go. Microsoft having a strong day. I wouldn't say a strong day, but it's not having a bad day. If it can get through these highs, the 280s, that's what you're looking for. 281.04. Get through that high to 280s. Close back towards 285. And guess what? You're going to have people having that FOMO, schmomo look to tech. We'll find out. It's one of those days. Wonka, you're thankful for Mitch? Well, I'm thankful for you, my friend. GME doing its thing again. Yeah, GME is something else, man. I had that piece yesterday. I tried to let it ride. It ended up breaking me out, break even. It is riding back up today, 2430s, and continuing a little bit higher. Came up below, recovered trend line, recovered the opening, then came back close to that opening price, held that, and then pushed right back off. You could have used the VWAP, but definitely the opening price is important there. 2307. Draw a line on that GME 2307, and look how when you recover there, it pulls back right around this level and then catches a nice little bid there for a nice little up move. Not a bad move there in GME. Still got these oil trade on. We'll see what happens there in XOM. It did kind of reject the VWAP again right now. Really a move through 106 is what I'm going to avoid on XOM. I'm going to continue battling these oil names. We'll see what happens on the day. If these do, get some takedown. All right, what's going on out there? Nice on Riot. We trimmed. We'll see what happens there. Race stock, not option. Meta. ACN on a jump on today. Yeah, take a look. Tech names that are getting higher, right? Tech names that what? Could be catch-up trades, right? Well, money managers were so worried about the bank crisis. Will they start to try to play catch-up on the tech names? Will rotation continue going to tech? Things all to look at today. And we're seeing it. It's continuing. Let's take a look at some of these tech names. Solar having a hell of a good day. Only one stock in red for Solar for me. This is when I love to try to play baskets and basket approach. Look at First Solar just ripping. Array, all these stocks having a decent day. EMPH, CSIQ, a lot of these, SEDG, Sol, JKS. There's so many solar names getting a nice little uplift. Technology is just pushing strong. EA getting a lift today. SE, I know that Jay mentioned it earlier. Look at that move, man. Look at this catch-up move. Woo! They want them. They want them. Billy even higher. Billy. Not bad there. Getting a little bit higher there. Billy. We'll see. I mean, this looks pretty dang positive to me. This doesn't look like bear market action to me, team. Could we be at the start of the next bull market? I'm not calling it to 420, but we'll have to find out. LRCX getting another lift here. Some semiconductor equipment names getting a nice little push. Just seems to me like these tech names are pushing higher. AEHR. And these are some big boys, right? I mean, these are starting to push these tech names. Keep your eyes on them. Information technology. What can we find there that's pushing strong today? CSPI, there's a smaller name. Let's look for a bigger name here. ACN. We talked about that one, right? GIB. Let me take a look at the daily chart on this one. Ooh, that's staying strong, continuing a nice little push. That's a kind of a relative strength name. INOD. Don't know this cheaper name, but just taking a look what's out there, right? This is how I roll through and find ideas, team, versus just going through the names that I know, right? Sometimes we'll find something that I don't know. This is a minor company that's showing up here, BTCM. Let's go through another area, software application. Let's go through some of these that are strong on the day. Let's go to Riot, of course, shows up there. CLSK, some cheaper name. Clean Spark. Haven't seen that one move in a long time. Unity. We talked about the growth trade, right? Will growth trade go strong today? Look at Unity's move there. ARKK having a hell of a good day, even though a lot of people were hating on Kathy for her SQ buy. It ain't even affecting her today, team, because she has so many of these growth names. They're taking off. They're having a good day, while some of these aren't, right? Coin is bouncing back a little bit from the open. Taking a look at Unity, strong there. MTTR having a good day. Even that stock, right? Growth names getting a nice little lift today. Be careful out there, team, but they are pushing. Roku higher. Zoom. Go to Zoom. Zoom higher, right? A lot of these growth names continuing to push. SPY now to 398.19. It just seems to me like we're climbing the wall of worry. And a lot of this, why? Because no more interest rate hikes. At least that's what is expected almost now. Maybe we get one more, but that's having people climb that wall of worry. Money managers need to have exposure. I think they're rotating heavily into tech names today. Marvell's another one I'd keep on watch. Look at the strength on Marvell. Why is it Marvell and Micron having the relative strength today? Because the catch-up trade, right? If you are, let's say, low weight on technology names today, you're looking for the ones that haven't completely taken off. But now look at these. Now they're completely taken off. And that's where we're going to feel a little bit of that FOMO action on names like this. So I'm keeping an eye on names like Micron, Marvell. We'll see what happens to these. They're continuing to lift there. So you could just literally just go into the Qs and just kind of put it by the capitalization, and you'll see how the day we're having, right? Apple, good day there. Microsoft, good day. Google, good day. Amazon, pushing higher. NVIDIA, now starting to actually get some lift. Let's take a look at the 15-minute. Just trying to get through 273.80s here. Reversed off of that VWAP, that red look. Now trying to get through the levels towards 274s. We'll see if that can continue lifting. Tesla not having a bad day there. Meta having a good day. Broadcom, ASML. I'm just showing all these tech names, how they're having a decent time right now. And we're going through some Qs names now. Look at the discount store is even rising. It just seems to me like it's an all-out type of rally type of day. And that's probably what wasn't expected as we see the strength. Look at Adobe in the last couple of hours, 4-hour chart. Since about the 16th, this is coming up now 8%, 9%. This doesn't look to me like bear market action. It looks to me like we're starting to shake the wall of worry. Adobe's staying strong here. We'll keep an eye out on these names, but definitely a big push there in tech. Look, AMD almost taking out Wednesday's high. Of course, we were like concerned about where the SPY was going to be, right? We got hit by Jerome Powell. Look where we're coming back, right back to that Jerome Powell time. So there you go, climbing that wall of worry today. This is what we mean by climbing the wall of worry, team. I talk about this often, but this is it. That's climbing the wall of worry. This is the worry. Look where we're at. We're almost climbed back. So there you go, have it. It's a really impressive run today, and you'll see what happens there. Billy. There you go. That's a nice looking chart. What is that pattern? Who knows that pattern? Where are we going to be talking about patterns? Of course, the book club. You know it. This actually looks pretty interesting. I'm not even going to name the pattern. You guys out there name it. The early bird gets the worm. You know it, Wonka. Flag. Andy, not to be mean. Grateful. It's not a flag. Maybe we got to get you guys over to the Japanese candlestick book, right? Oh, Grateful God got it on that one. Ascending triangle. Boom, 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 boom. DG got it. Boom, 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 boom. Ascending triangle. Why? Because you have a horizontal trend line to the top side of the pattern and an upsloping trend line. So that's what makes it more of an ascending triangle, right? So just to kind of describe it up there, it's not a flat top triangle. It's close. I mean, I can't blame you for calling it that. I mean, that's what it is. But it's an ascending triangle pattern. And the rule of three still plays with these. That's what I love. Mitch's rule of three, you could play it with these. Find out, man. Come to the book club. It's going to be awesome. You don't want to miss it. Always good to learn, right? Well, the way that I take a look at this, team, rule of three. Let's take a look. Learning lesson of the day, and then I'll wrap up, team. So this is that up action move. This is the down action move. Up action, right? You get to the top of the resistance. You're looking for the moves back to the downside, right? Boom. Boom. Now can we just touch this like kind of 25, 30 mark and then drive a little bit higher, right? What does that also give us the look of, right? Higher lows, higher lows. So this is why I always try to look at this area, and I'm looking to see the bunch up there. And then eventually I'm looking to see, okay, how many bottoms do I have? That's that up, one down, two up, two down, three up, three down. Look for support to be created here, and then look for that drive higher. Ascending triangle, Mitch's rule of three, and that is going to be our pattern breakdown of the day. Hope you guys enjoy this. Smash the like, team. Of course, I don't have a trade on this one, but just wanted to break it down for you guys. Like always, a little learning lesson here before we wrap up on live trading. Get you guys over to a great interview that Zunaid's about to take over with. He'll be hopping on, so I'm going to bring on my screen here. We'll be wrapping up. We'll take a look to see what happens. Overall, the market is just climbing that wall of worry today. We'll see if we can continue climbing that wall. And I'll catch you guys on Start Swing Trading. That's going to start at 3 p.m. Eastern, like always, weekdays at 3 to 4. You don't want to miss it. Come close the market with me. I'll see you guys a little bit later. And I think Zunaid's ready. You ready, my friend? Not ready. All right, let me go back here. Let me get back to the charts. We'll just keep taking a look into the market. And Zunaid will be joining us in just a few seconds here. SPY up there towards 398.30s. Can we continue driving higher? Q's just driving higher. And a lot of people are going to be feeling that FOMO. Remember what I said at the beginning part of the show? I said that a little bit later in the day, you might be seeing those medias talking all about the technology run. Well, count it, read it, and weep. Let me know, you guys. You guys tweet me at MoneyMitchBZ, all that tech talk that you guys hear, and just put like, you guys can mess with me. Put a little clown face. I'll enjoy it. We'll find out what happens. All right, I'll be done today. You guys smash the like. Zunaid's taking over here. You guys have a great day.
All right, appreciate that, my man. Let me go ahead and switch a couple of things out here. All right, appreciate that. There we go. I was about to do the same exact thing. What's going on, chat? You guys know we love talking to executives and getting your questions answered directly from them. And of course, today we've got a great interview lined up with Dr. Howard Berman, who is the CEO and chairman of Coya Therapeutics, ticker COYA. So without any further ado, let's start All Access right now. Dr. Berman, how are you? Good morning.
Pleasure to meet you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Excited to get our conversations going. I've got a lot of notes here. We'll dive into it all a little deeper in a minute. But if you could explain it to me like I'm five, what is it that your company does?
We are developing therapeutics, drugs to target a cell type called the regulatory T cell. We call it the Treg. It is the most important cell in the body that controls inflammation. And we are thought leaders in this field, and we've discovered that neurodegenerative diseases such as Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and ALS are driven by the dysfunctional Tregs in the bloodstream. And so our goal is to enhance the function of these Tregs to slow and to stop the inflammation, and that inevitably we believe will stop and slow the progression of these diseases.
Gotcha. And that's the reason that it's so important in the body, is because of its progression that Tregs provides?
Right. So the Tregs are not working properly in these patients. So we are here to make these Tregs more functional, to enhance the Tregs, and that controls and slows this. We call it a forest fire of inflammation that drives these very terrible diseases.
Now, I believe you mentioned quite a few unfortunate diseases that folks deal with, but I believe back in January, you had announced data that showed it may also be useful in treating Alzheimer's. Can you dive a little bit deeper into that for me?
I can. So we have shown preclinically, actually in mice models, in Alzheimer's mouse models, that if you give Tregs in peripherally to these mice, not only does it slow the inflammation and stop it in the brain, but it controls all the beta amyloid and all these proteins that you've heard about in the brain. So we have actually taken that data, and we're leading this field, and we've done a small patient study, and this data will be announced in the next 1 or 2 months in Alzheimer's patients, in mild to moderate Alzheimer's patients, by giving a simple subcutaneous injection of one of our proteins. And we'll be reporting on the role that this drug has in potentially changing the paradigm in Alzheimer's patients.
All right. Well, 1 to 2 months. I've got that written down. I definitely would love to talk to you after that report comes out. Now, what about any metabolic diseases? Any helpful there?
Absolutely. We've found that Tregs, the cell that I've been talking about, plays an important role. The dysfunction in not only metabolic diseases, things like NASH and even cardiovascular diseases, but in autoimmune conditions, in things like lupus and scleroderma, the Tregs are dysfunctional. Inflammation is out of control. Unfortunately, inflammation is a terrible problem, and it's not the acute inflammation you get like in an infection. It's this chronic, smoldering, slow inflammation. But the goal of the goal of our Tregs is to, at the top of the pyramid, at the most upstream portion, is to slow and to control that inflammation. And we've done that. I want to point out 2 days ago, we presented data in ALS, in Lou Gehrig's disease, with one of our combination biologics. And in this small study, we stopped the progression of ALS at 24 weeks, which is a really remarkable feat. And we are planning to do a much larger study to illustrate that the slowing and stopping inflammation is an important part of this cascade.
Now, is that the Coya 302 that you just mentioned there?
That is
Or
correct.
is that something different?
No, that's Coya 302, and it involves
Okay.
It involves a combination of 2 drugs. One of them upregulates Tregs, and the other one we licensed from Dr. Reddy's, a big billion-dollar generic company, a fusion protein that also blocks other aspects of inflammation. But the combination together may have synergistic activity.
Okay. Now, with the Coya 302, you announced positive results just a couple of days ago. Anything else that is in the works that you're hoping to announce in the future? Good, bad, or ugly, that's for us to find out later. But is there anything else in the works right now that our potential investors can know we can look forward to results down the road?
Absolutely. Well, we have Alzheimer's data, which is going to be very important for investors to see in the next 1 or 2 months.
Right.
Have an IND that's going to be filed this summer, at the end of the summertime, and we're going to start a clinical trial, and that we plan to have interim data on that clinical trial towards the end of the year or early in 2024. And then, of course, we're going to start our larger clinical trial in ALS in the second half of 23. And all along the way, we're also presenting our other pipeline assets. We have data on our exosomes, which are another part of our portfolio, and that data should be coming out forthwith. We also have our biomarker data, and in neurodegenerative diseases, biomarkers are everything. We have additional data, 12-month data, that should be presented and published in peer review literature.
All right. So you've got a lot of different things going on. So definitely exciting stuff to look forward to. One of the things I wanted to talk about also was Coya 301, because I believe you had a partnership with AR Science recently. How does this kind of add more versatility to your capabilities with the company?
Well, correct. The 301, which is low-dose interleukin-2, there is no approved low-dose IL-2 out there. And interleukin-2 is a very difficult to find protein. So AR Science has an approved IL-2 that is being sold. It's actually commercial in Argentina, and there's what's called a drug master file in the United States. So it gives us a unique opportunity, and they have the intellectual property which we licensed on the low-dose format. So we're working very closely with this very important partnership, not just to bring this into larger numbers of patients in neurodegenerative diseases, but to expand it by doing more research and development and adding additional moats in terms of an intellectual property on the development of IL-2.
Now, you're doing so many important things here, and I assume in all of this obviously takes so much money, resources, and things like that, but you also have to deal with the regulatory environments as well. Have those kind of been tricky for you to handle and deal with for, let's say, the past 5 years or even currently? Because I assume there could be blockers that are getting in your way of what you're trying to do. And how do you plan on overcoming them?
Yeah, well, we've not been around for 5 years. We've done all of this work, believe it or not, in about two and a half years. So we've been very productive. We've taken in a lot of non-dilutive funding that has led up to where we are. So we've had a lot of fiduciary responsibility, and we've managed our money very well. We continue to do that. In terms of regulatory, the benefits of doing biologics over cell therapy are enormous. We started with cell therapy, and while the data was very promising, we realized that the CMC, which is the manufacturing, and the regulatory aspects are much more complex. But we're dealing with established biologics that the FDA has seen before, they have experience with, the manufacturing's well known, the safety and tolerability profiles are well known, so we've de-risked this significantly. We've taken a lot of risk off the table, and so we feel very good from a safety and tolerability perspective to bring this forward. And now we just really need to go out there and show efficacy. And the early data is very promising for us.
Yeah, and of course, you've got something coming out in a couple of months. Look forward to seeing that. Now, the hot topic around the street, besides banks, I don't want to get into that, has been AI, right? That's been such a big conversation, no matter what type of industry you're in. Do you see AI playing a role in what you're doing? And if so, how do you plan on having that be another asset to your tool belt?
Well, AI is a big word. My kids are using AI. It's shocking. I didn't even know what AI was when I was I don't think it exists. It's a new world we're living in, and AI is a buzzword. But there's different aspects and derivatives of AI. Some AI is more advanced and actually is conducive for drug development. We do believe that there are partnership opportunities for our IL-2 with companies developing using AI to develop targeted therapeutics. Why that's important is our IL-2, our low-dose IL-2 acts in a way that enhances one aspect of the anti-inflammatory components of the immune system. We could use and leverage partnerships with other companies to do combination therapeutics with our low-dose IL-2, and that's combination therapeutics is the future. And just like in HIV and AIDS, it was combination drugs that made all the difference. Just like in oncology, it's combination therapeutics. So combinations with drugs that are targeted, where we leverage partnerships with AI-driven drug discovery, may be the way to take an excellent result to a groundbreaking result.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you having so many great conversations with us. We talked about Coya 302, 301, your partnership with AR Science, but I want to kind of turn the floor over to you. If there's anything else that you wanted to talk to our viewers about, the floor is yours.
Right. Well, we've really made, I think, a monumental step forward with our therapy. We are what we consider to be the thought leaders in this field called Tregs. You can look up the word TREG. It is one of the hottest areas in biotechnology now. It's the cell that controls inflammation. And so we are one of the most clinically advanced of many biotech companies out there. I think the step forward that we have is we've got clinical data. We're not messing around in mice and in animals and in preclinically. We're leading the way in testing this in human subjects. We've got what we consider to be highly promising data in a disease that there is almost nothing for it, in ALS, and we're starting to show in other neurodegenerative conditions like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's that this has highly promising activity. So I think we're just getting started. We've got a lot of data. We've got a lot of catalysts upcoming, and I think we've got an exciting future for both for ourselves, investors, and for patients alike.
Well, I know for me, I definitely look forward to having more conversations with you, hopefully in a month or two when your studies are further published. But thank you so much. That is Dr. Howard Berman, who is the CEO and chairman of the board of Coya Therapeutics. Doc, thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Thank you. Be well.
Thank you. And that's going to do it for us in terms of All Access. Check out the ticker and, of course, do your own due diligence. If you have any questions, whenever we have interviews like that, you can always put them in the chat. But that's going to be ticker COYA. And that's going to do it for All Access.